So, ambulance. Not for me, because I made the board slide. G'day guys, and welcome to another episode of the Sore Losers Show. Today we've got another how-to. It's a board slide. It's a Slappy board slide. I know the title says Slappy board slide. To me, I don't really think of it as a Slappy by definition. I think of it as more of turning into a board slide. So, I mean, yeah, it's a technical thing, but I guess because you are not ollieing, we'll call it a Slappy board slide. One of my favorites, and it's not as hard as you might think once you get your head around the physics of it. But let's jump right in and check out footing for your backside variety of Slappy board slide. Okay, footing. Here's your board. Stand on your board. Back foot first. In the center of the tail is probably most comfortable for me, but you can put it wherever you are able to raise the nose quite easily without too much effort, just shifting your weight back. Your front foot, you may have noticed already, is just behind both of my deck bolts there. The reason for this is the front foot isn't that important. It's just that's where it's comfortable for me. So you could have your foot as far forward as here, as long as it's not on the nose, and probably as far back as here, as long as it's not too far back. So you got a bit of play with your front foot footing, and just make sure that the ball of your feet, both feet, are sort of over the center. So down that line of where your trucks are. Just because it'll make it easier to balance once you start sliding. It's really basic. You could basically just jump on your board in whatever position is comfortable for you to stand on, and you'd have it just about right. But this is where I put my feet. This is where I find it comfortable. This is how I feel most in control of this trick. So next off, everybody's favorite, the magic of foot hands is going to show us with our feet in that position we just discussed, our approach angle and what we're going to do when we get to the curb. Now, unlike most slappy tricks, this trick you want to be riding pretty much parallel to the curb. Maybe a slight angle, but as parallel as you can get and not too close. Reason for this, when you go to pivot, you won't be able to. Not too far away, so that your front truck can't make it over. If you are more comfortable a little further away, I would suggest a slight angle. That way, when you come into it, you're turning on, pivoting on, letting the slide take over from there, changing momentum down the curb from that slide angle. But for the sake of this, let's talk parallel. Your speed, at first, I would say don't go too fast. Maybe like a 1.5 push speed while you're learning, and also pick your curb well. So if it's a longer curb, obviously you can afford a little more speed. If it's a shorter curb, you don't want to go too fast at it so that you're coming off it straight away. You want to stay on there for a little while. So you're parallel to the curb. You're riding along, and of course I'll put in some slow motion probably over the top of this so you can see exactly what I'm talking about while I'm talking about it. You're riding along, and then you are just lifting the front, turning your body, shoulders included. Watch my shoulders in this clip. They turn at the same time as my feet. I don't have my feet this way, and my shoulders are waiting to catch up. When you get on the curb, you want to have your weight centered so you can travel down it. Once you've pivoted on and you're just controlling that teeter as you're sliding, actually, let's get into body position on this one, because this is an important one for body position. A lot of other tricks you can get away with kind of being a little bit here and there, or your shoulders catching up late. But I really want to go through this. If you're trying to get a longer slide, or if you're only learning this trick, body position is very important. So let's hit that up right now. Okay guys, so you know where you're putting your feet. you know your approach angle, you know what you're doing, the pivot into it. The next thing that comes is, as I said, body position being very important. So I'll shoot one from this angle so you can see my shoulder rotation being at the same time, approximately, it may be a little bit before my feet turn. So that when I'm connected to the curb initially, I am already balanced to slide. I'm not trying to adjust my body while sliding. Really important. And here's another thing. Put a little bit of a squat into it. It'll really help you lowering your center of gravity, balancing for a longer slide. Oh, and before we do this, another little thing is, because it is another trick that is not popping, because it is a slappy, it is a curb trick, as they all are on the Sore Loser channel. You're gonna squat into it and a little hop up and then put your weight down. The same kind of thing, like an ollie motion without tapping the tail, just relieving pressure from the board so that you can pivot easily and quickly. So just watch this a couple of times, pay attention to my body position, what my shoulders are doing in relation to my feet, and that should be giving you a pretty good idea of how to initially get into your board slide. So you're approaching, slide squat, bounce, shoulders around, head centered to the body when I get on the curb, and a slight squat. So let's move along. How to come out. So you're on your curb, you've done a little bit of a slide, it's time to come out, and you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I get it? Okay, here you go. You're in your slide. Your feet should be pretty much in your original position, should be centered over the curb with your head while you're sliding. Otherwise, your slide wouldn't have worked. And all you're doing is shifting your weight to this shoulder slightly so that the back truck goes down, and then you're doing a quick pivot out, lifting your front truck over the back of the curb there and just pivoting it out. Just like that. Now your shoulders are going to stay back and they're going to follow later. So let's do that again, just one more time. I'll slow this down as well. You're just shifting your weight to your outer shoulder. I won't say left or right because I don't know if you're goofy or natural. So your outer shoulder, the shoulder from the direction which you came, shifting your weight that way, your back truck going down. As that touches, you lift a little more of the front truck and it's a quick pivot out. Don't try and turn too slow, and just make sure when you have come around, kind of give it a little stomp down, four-wheel connection so that you can roll away pretty good. Just like that. Okay, so now taking all of that you've learned, let's put them all together. We'll do a few, throw a few in slow motion so you can see if I'm actually telling the truth more than anything. Because to be honest with you, I've been doing this trick for longer than I can remember. I don't even know when I started doing backside board slides, but it was one of the first tricks I learnt on an obstacle, and I really had to put some thought into the actual footing and the actual actions of this so that I could share that with you guys. So let's do a few, as I said, a few in slow motion. Let's try and work through this together, get a few good ones, and then I'll be back after that to give you guys a little information about why this trick is so fun and so cool. So as I said, here's a couple of things that will make your board sliding life a little bit easier, in my opinion anyway. The first of which is rails. So if you're just riding a board without rails and you're trying to learn how to board slide, it's going to be harder for you. Just because of the concave, you're going to have less surface contact at any one time. So your stability isn't going to be all that good. But with rails, no matter what you distance them, even if they're all the way out to the end, you're probably going to be the most stable because you have one, the center of your board, and then two rails. So 3 points of contact where your board will just be absolutely flat. The second of which, if you want to get length on board slides, I know these weren't very long, but that was only because the curb I chose, because I don't like doing this in busier places just because I feel like an idiot. So the curb I chose is at the Greek, and it's probably about 3 meters, 4 meters of board slidable curb there. So if you want to go long, squat a little more. Get your weight right down. Once you've conquered getting on, sliding for a bit, and pivoting off, naturally you're going to see how far you can actually slide. So yeah, there's my tip to you. Go a little squattier than you would be comfortable in doing most tricks. So give that a try and just practice, practice, practice. And another thing that makes board slides so fun is how they feel. So they're a great feeling trick. If you slide for a while, like beyond your sort of 2 meter mark, they start feeling really good, especially when you come out of one nice and clean. Another aspect of them is they do lend themselves to combos, which, as I said in previous videos, that's my style of skating. Actually, if you want to see or learn how to do some combos, if you're getting these basic tricks fairly easily, I can teach you some combos related to previous videos that are on the channel. So let me know in the comments below if you want to learn a specific combo or a specific trick for that matter that is a basic trick and you'd like to learn it. If I don't know how to do it and I think it'd be fun to learn, I'll learn it myself so I can pass that on to you. So in conclusion, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for giving me your time. Damo, Saw Liz's show. Peace.